Jedi Academy, the game that irreversibly damaged my vision. I used to play this for around 18 hours a day on PC. Originally released in 2003, Jedi Academy, just like Jedi Outcast, was developed by Raven Software. At the time, the game felt like an improvement over Jedi Outcast for giving you access to the lightsaber from the start of the game. As well as being able to progress through force powers in the order you wanted to, they expanded on that freedom and you can choose the order in which you complete the missions. The story, however, was a step back. Kyle Katarn, the main character of Jedi Outcast, is now an NPC. Similar to Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2, this change allows him to be developed more as a character, but unfortunately little is done with this. It's a great feeling fighting alongside him in certain missions as he tears through the enemies with his Jedi Master level abilities. He's funny as ever, and still one of the best characters Star Wars has had.
I sense a disturbance in the Force.
You always sense a disturbance in the Force.
Kyle, why don't you...
Stay here and investigate? I'd love to. Why don't you take the kids back home now?
The story follows on from Jedi Knight 2. Skywalker's Jedi Academy slowly making progress in training students and undertakes various peacekeeping missions across the galaxy. You create a character and play as a new student. The character creation is basic, but was a big deal at the time for letting you choose a variety of alien species, including Rhodians. This release is again handled by Aspyr, who have handled many ports to Mac, Linux and mobile platforms. Now, to answer the main questions, I unfortunately cannot recommend this game. The Jedi Outcast port had its problems, but this one has a lot more. Obviously, it's a straight port of the PC game with basic changes. Again, this game is now 1080p and 16:9 ratio to fit widescreen displays. But the translation is badly done and means you lose image from the top. Unlike Jedi Outcast, there is no option to revert to the original 4:3 ratio. Now, of course, the main interest for this release is due to the inclusion of the game's multiplayer. Well, it's disappointing. It's basic, bare bones, and actually out of date. There's no server browser, instead opting for a very console experience with matchmaking. No custom game rules means no lightsaber only matches. Force powers will always be enabled, and there's no sense of community. There is no in-game communication. Text chat has been replaced by preset messages that can be accessed from the pause menu, and it's mainly just Star Wars references such as, "It's over, I have the high ground." Sure, it could be argued that removing text chat from console players is a good thing. I played a lot of Metal Gear Online. It's not good when you give console players text chat. But the lack of in-game communication and custom rules means that the community aspect that elevated the PC multiplayer and kept that game alive for so long is completely absent. I think the multiplayer will be a ghost town within months and probably dead before the end of the year. Now, the game does at least control better than Jedi Outcast did, but it still doesn't feel perfect. New to Jedi Academy is what Aspyr call a modernized control scheme. As far as I can tell, this just means there are shortcuts to access your force powers. This is by pressing L1 and one of the face buttons at the same time. The problem is that it doesn't use the force power, it just equips it. So you then still need to press L1 again to actually use the power. With all of that said, the single player is still fun, and it's great to visit a lot of locations from the movies. With the levels being more open, the AI has issues. Enemies don't run for cover and usually stay in the open. Lightsaber equipped enemies will attempt to jump out of the way of your attacks, and sometimes they jump a little too far and end up falling off ledges down to their death. You can turn the lightsaber off this time, which is a very nice touch and helps with the immersion. That's something that Jedi Outcast was sorely missing. The fact that this is a pricey release for such an ancient game doesn't help. I wish I could sing praise for this game, but I'm bad at singing, and this just isn't a good deal. I would say not to bother with this one just yet. I'd say to wait for a discount or for it to at least match the price of Jedi Outcast.